Hello, my name is Elise Malterre and I'm 18 years old, and I am an advocate for student voice. Now, I see student voice as a heavily overlooked resource in our society, especially in education. Our current education model was born in the Industrial Revolution. Everyone doing the same thing at the same time sounds like exactly what it was designed for, to train factory workers. We are still using the same model, but without the factories as the end goal. Because this has been the only option for years, we assume it's the only way. If it was up to students, we wouldn't be sitting in classrooms for 7 hours a day being talked at. A little about my story. I started 9th grade at the top high school in Idaho, on my way to getting the International Baccalaureate diploma. Freshman year is supposed to be innocent and fun and easy, but I was underslept, stressed, and obsessing over grades. I was complacent in this because it was my new reality. I came away from that year with a few takeaways that have been confirmed by many educators, doctors, and peers. Our current education system is literally bad for our health. My first period class was math, and each semester I got 4 bathroom passes. If I had to go to the bathroom more than 4 times in the semester, I would get credit deducted from my transcript. I was being punished for being hydrated. I wouldn't drink water until the end of first period class, just in case. I put school before basic health. The bathroom issue came up again in 4th period US history, when I raised my hand to go to the bathroom, and I had to announce the class that I had to go, and my teacher asked me if it was number 1 or number 2, further humiliating me. So, and it just crossed so many lines. So after my first time needing to go to the bathroom, I made sure to hold it so I could only go at lunch or after school. Not to be too grotesque, but for reference, according to the Cleveland and Mayo Clinic, the average bladder can hold 10 to 15 ounces of liquid. If the average person is drinking enough water, we should be peeing 6 to 7 times a day or every 2.5 hours. I was going about every 4 to 5 hours. You know something is seriously wrong when students are being discouraged to drink water, the very thing fueling their brain to be in school. I haven't even touched on sleep and stress levels yet. Teenagers need 9 to 9.5 hours of sleep a night, and we only average about 7. I'm sure it's no surprise to everyone in this room who is a teenager, has a teenage kid, or at least knows one. But for me, I was averaging about 6 hours in 9th grade. I was so overwhelmed with homework that I would fall asleep working almost every night, and this became my norm, which is not okay. Another takeaway is that we are discouraging creativity and engagement in our classes. In kindergarten, kids are eager to raise their hand and share their ideas without fear of humiliation and being fully engaged in their classes. As we get older, fewer and fewer hands are raised. You wonder why I didn't want to raise my hand and risk answering something wrong when I was just humiliated with bathroom jokes. That same US history teacher had a jar of sticks with our names on them. For each question he asked, he would pull a name out of the jar. My name was only called every 27 or so questions, so on the rare occasion that I actually did want to contribute or share my ideas, I couldn't because my name wasn't pulled. The very nature of this common method is shutting down the engagement and creativity that we need to be building up in young people. Robots will be able to replace 1/3 of jobs by 2030. But you know what skills robots don't have? Empathy, creativity, vulnerability. It's funny how the things that will set us apart from technology are the very things missing in our education system. We should be fostering these skills and values in education instead of memorization and regurgitating information. Instead of having an education system for the sake of having an education system, we need to shift our model to create schools with the student as the customer. Instead of waiting to be called on, students should have the loudest voice in shaping their education. You may think this is ridiculous. Students don't have experience or training to build a school. They don't have the ability to really come up with the right ideas. But if you want to build something that is new and student-centered, why not have the student drive that? This seems like a pretty radical idea to people, but there are these microschools popping up all over the country and all over the world that are doing just this. And guess what? It's actually working. Believe it or not, there is one in Boise, Idaho. 345 miles from here, there is a student-led and directed school called One Stone. Author and CEO of Getting Smart, Tom Vander Ark, calls it the most innovative high school in the world. And funny enough, I happen to be graduating from there in about 2 weeks. One Stone's mission is to make students better leaders and the world a better place. One Stone captures these values of empathy, creativity, vulnerability, passion, ownership, and fuses that with knowledge and skill to allow students to take the wheel. The board of directors is 2/3 students, 1/3 adults, although right now it's even more than that. The people making the big decisions are the ones that are actually going to be affected by them. Doesn't that just make sense? Instead of teachers, we have coaches, most of which don't even have backgrounds in education. There are 3 coaches with PhDs, but the rest are just experts in their field of music production, digital design, criminal law, and also STEM focuses like neuroscience, aerospace engineering, and coding. The student is able to build their own schedule based on their interests and passions to create a school day that they are engaged in and excited about. The invisible structure allows students to have ownership in passion-driven courses and design thinking projects, while also pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone into different areas. There also aren't grades. Instead of a traditional GPA, students have a growth transcript which measures the student's growth in over 30 categories. Things like empathy, mindset, creativity, critical thinking, management, leadership, relevant application. These are the qualities that we want to see in politicians, corporate CEOs, and our world leaders. Imagine what the world would look like if these were the values that were ingrained in us at a very young age. These leaders I'm referring to also don't have to be out of high school. Life doesn't start out of high school when you turn 18 and graduate. I see so many people just waiting to graduate to get into the real world. I didn't want to waste 4 years of my life just waiting to graduate. I wanted to be in the real world right now. Through One Stone since sophomore year, I've worked with companies like Happy Family Organics, a baby food company, Biomark, who does fish tagging and research to redesign their packaging system to reduce waste. I've organized a day camp for 5th graders in a low-income elementary school in Idaho to build outdoor skills and fight nature deficit disorder. I've created a guide to fix flat tires that breaks down language barriers and the transportation issues that face the Boise refugee community. I've designed a reusable coffee tumbler that reduces waste while also benefiting local conservation groups. This inspiration to take action and empowered feeling goes beyond just the projects that I do at One Stone. On May 15th, my friend Liam and I led the student climate strike at the Boise Capitol building, which brought over 300 people, and we had incredible support from our educators. I promise I'm not trying to just brag about my accomplishments. All I want to show you is what's possible when students are able to take charge. My school experience was not only meaningful to me and my growth as a person, but also on the world. I've been able to make real impact. Every single one of my classmates could ramble on just as impressive of a list of projects and accomplishments, and that's progress. I know the world is ready for this change. I know because my best friend's sister did a TED Talk called I'm 17, which has over 3 million views right now on YouTube. She talks about student voice and the importance of students taking charge and owning their life and their education. I know this because there are people touring One Stone every single day. They want to take back values of One Stone into their own schools. I can see it on Instagram when high schoolers post things that they're passionate about and want to make change in, but are discouraged and frustrated because of their age. You may have noticed by now that I don't have pictures or slides up behind me. This is because this is one of the rare occasions that as a student, I have this platform to stand on and share my voice and be heard. So I want all of the attention on me. So if you've fallen asleep by now, wake up and hear this. Our education system needs work, and students have powerful and creative ideas. Engage them. Let them in on the decision-making that will affect their schooling. The results will be astounding. I hear older people saying all the time how it's up to us to pick up the pieces and save the world. So let us. We are ready to reimagine what education looks like for the future. Students have a voice, and it is up to all of the adults out there and all of the teenagers to build each other up, encourage, and empower each other to speak up. Thank you.